All right. Welcome to the Builders Collab. This isn't a podcast where we're going to spend an hour giving leadership tips or talking about the latest business trends. This is a space where we sit down to have the kinds of conversations that we find ourselves having after client meetings, conferences, and other conversations.
And I'm Danielle Bertrand, the preventative burnout specialist. And I'm super excited to be having these conversations. Like Jade mentioned, these are conversations we have consistently, and we know that it is time to bring it to you, those that are also building. And as a preventative burnout specialist, my focus is on capabilities and competency, making sure that your organization is healthy from the inside out. And the other part of the dynamic duo, Jade.
I'm Jade Williams. I'm also known as the Profit Architect. My area of focus is visibility and sustainability. So I work from the outside in of an organization to make sure that not only are you visible, but your organization is also sustainable. So that ultimately the goal is profit. So that we get to that point, but we have sustainable profit and we are doing the things that align with the vision and not that align with the worldly ideas that we have. So again, super excited to be having these types of conversations. And the reality is, every week we're going to be here and we are going to explore one question at a time. We'll talk about it together because what we've learned is that asking the right questions often changes things versus us just giving another list of solutions. So today's question that we're talking about or what we're getting into is we are exploring, is vision enough? Is it really?
And a lot of times, well, we're going to talk about if it is or not. But what we've noticed is that's a question that most people don't ask. And when they think about vision and being a visionary, that seems so exciting. And everybody's like, we got a vision, we wrote it down, all of these things, which is great because you need to know where you're going. But a lot of times people don't talk about the structure of how they're going to get there and if they have the capacity to sustain it once they actually make it to that point.
That's so good because when we think about structure, that is often the last piece. Structure is not something that you see on the forefront. You
Mhm.
see all of the, the cute stuff, the glamorous stuff. You think about, again, building a house. And I always use this example because having gone through the process with the client of having the home built, that's the part that you don't see. Like the structural part is not the cute stuff. That's not the stuff that we even are, we are so laser focused on.
Yeah.
We just assume that because the structure is there, because we see it, that it is solid. But the reality is we don't get to really dive deep into
Yeah.
that part. And that is usually when those things, like you said, capacity and, competency and those things, that's usually when we fail, when we don't evaluate that structure.
Yes. And I know sometimes when you're building something, because I went through the process of building my home. And so, like, you're like, oh, the bricks up, all these things, but you really want to get to the paint, right? Like, you really want to make it look pretty, but that is the foundation. So you won't have cracks in the wall and all of those things. So you have to enjoy building the structure. And so many of us have built things so quickly so we can get to the paint, so we can get to the brand and the colors, the logo, all of those things that we did not take the internal time to make sure, am I building a solid foundation and am I building with the right people?
That's so
Because
good.
a lot of times that could be part of the issue too. Are the right people in place? Do they have the right expertise or experience to be able to move forward with the building of this thing?
That's so good. Because like again, vision is most times, and I'm a person who when I'm baby, my vision is the end. My vision is the finished product, and we don't spend enough time thinking about the pieces and the building blocks, even in that home buying process.
Yeah,
What does that look like? What has had to stop? What's been held up? What have
yeah,
we moved forward in, and those things? So in that building process, we miss all of the other pieces because again, and funny that my, one of the areas that I focus on is visibility
yeah,
because we look at what's visible. But the reality is the visibility that we are focused on in our organizations, in our
Mhm.
companies, is the visibility that is able to sustain the vision.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like you said, the cute stuff, the
Mhm.
paint, the logo, or any of that.
Mhm.
It's the small things that we don't realize. It's even, is your home positioned on the right street? Because if you have curb appeal, what
Yes.
does that look like? It's those things that's going
No.
to increase the value
Yeah.
versus the things that are just going to get it done.
Yes, and a lot of times we see people with beautiful floor plans. We like, I want my house to look exactly like
Yeah.
that, but we don't realize that they need that because of what they're building, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes we're like, oh well, I don't have the finances for that, so I need to build small. But actually, you need an 8 bedroom house because you got a lot going on over there, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes we just see floor plans and say, oh, I want that one. But in business, a lot of times our floor plans are custom. And we
Mhm.
got to be okay with
That's
it being
right.
custom and not looking exactly like somebody else's business, especially in the nonprofit space. A lot of us have ideas and we want to give back and all of these things. And so we think we can copy and paste, but we have different demographics, we have
Yes.
different opportunities for funding. And
Yes.
so we cannot just copy somebody else's floor plan, especially if we don't know what their vision was or why they even chose that floor plan,
Yes.
because what works for them may not work for you. And if you find yourself in a mansion when you actually need a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, now you have overextended
That's
yourself
right.
and you're trying to take care of this and you're trying to keep hiring people and you really don't
That's
have
right.
the finances for that because you're trying to sustain something that was never meant for you in this season. It
Yes.
was not the time for you to have expanded that wide and that big just because it looks nice. It looks appealing.
That's right. That's so good what you said about even being, you find yourself in a mansion, but you cannot sustain it.
Yeah.
And that is one of the big things. We dream big, we
Mhm.
build big, the vision is huge, and all of those things. Because again, when we're looking at the end, so as
Mhm.
I said, hey, you build with the end in mind.
Yeah.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
But I build with the end in my eye. So I
Uh-huh.
see all the cute stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
However, when we are thinking about it being sustainable,
Mhm.
we can go and get something that we truly cannot maintain and we cannot sustain.
Exactly.
So it's so good that when we have this structure, we're looking at things like not just the fullness of the
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we are looking at what does it need to function?
Mhm.
What does it need for me to even be able to maintain it? Because if you have a mansion, but you don't have not just the finances, but you don't have the capacity to
Yeah.
keep it clean, you
Yeah.
don't have the what it takes to take care of this home, the grass ain't cut, like you're getting now, you find yourself in a position where you've got the HOA sending you
Knocking on
letters
your
and
door.
just all types
Exactly.
of different stuff. So we have to definitely be
Yeah.
mindful, and that is why the vision is not enough. I
Yeah.
believe that it's not enough because there are so many other pieces that we need. The vision is good. I believe
Yeah.
it keeps you grounded,
Mhm.
right? But you can easily, look the wrong way and start building something and end up further along or further in a place that you didn't
Exactly.
intend to be
Exactly.
because you just weren't laser focused, or you
Mhm.
were too laser focused on the
Yeah.
vision itself.
And with the vision, it's usually a big vision, right? And so people just go out and jump and say, I'm doing all of this at one
Yeah.
time. And it's not that you're not supposed to do it, but you need to have priorities. Like
So good.
start with something. Don't start with everything
Right.
because that's why you overwhelmed now. That's why you're thinking about closing your business down now because you're overwhelmed because you got all these projects that you
That's right.
started and you're working with this person and working with this person where you actually need to scale down a little bit and refocus on
Mhm.
exactly what you're supposed to be doing in this season, in this time, and what do you have the finances for? What does your audience actually need? Because some of us are
That's
building
right.
stuff that our audience don't actually want or need. They're already getting it from someone else,
Yes.
but we copy it and paste, and so we like, oh, I got to do it too. In actuality, there's somebody doing a complimentary thing from you that your audience can go to. You don't have to be all things for everybody. And
Yes.
I
That's so
think,
good.
Joe, you don't need the mansion, right? You can have a house in the subdivision and it still be really nice,
Yes.
but that doesn't mean you own every house. That doesn't
Yes.
mean everybody can live with you,
Yes.
right?
That's
Like, are
good.
you building something that you want everybody to come stay at your
Yes.
house? Who want all the people? Not me. I don't want all the people in my house. So I'm
That's right.
building something that I can grow, I
Yeah,
can grow into something bigger, but I'm not building something that's for everybody.
that's
And
good.
we let that mentality go, oh yeah, I gotta take care of everybody. No, you don't.
That's
That is
good.
not your job
Yeah,
position. You don't have the anointing for it.
yeah,
Okay. So like you don't worry about trying to take care of everybody.
yeah,
Take care of the people that you are assigned to and steward them well. And
yeah,
to vision, I think stewardship is definitely a part of the conversation of
yes,
how to structure things. Because if you're not
yes,
stewarding well, then you will go out and do a bunch of stuff. But if you are stewarding, things are gonna look a lot better. And Jade, talk a little bit about stewardship, especially in business, because I feel like people don't steward; they just budget and hope it work out.
yes. So especially in business, because we talk about stewardship in other areas and all
No.
the other things, but in business it's especially important. One of the things that I've had in working in finance and those
Mhm.
things, working with clients to even just help them understand stewardship is not just about how you maintain the money, right?
Mhm.
Stewardship is also about how you take care of the people that come in the door.
Mhm.
What is that experience like? That also, when we look at stewardship is a part of that sustainability,
Mhm.
because sustaining something, if we're not stewarding what we already currently have, so if we don't steward the people who come into our doors, if we're
Mhm.
not stewarding the funders and
Yeah.
these different things that we're expecting in our businesses, if we don't take good care of them, we don't build good relationships, and we're not doing what we're supposed to do with what we already have, that immediately affects how the sustainability of your organization, not just financial sustainability, but your relational
Mhm.
sustainability. Because if you cannot maintain those relationships, or you're not, your client experience or your user experience or
Yeah.
your people experience is just subpar,
Mhm.
then again, sustainability is immediately affected. When we look at the area of stewardship in of our time and things like that, I know that directly connects back to the capacity and the
Yeah.
capability and stuff. So stewardship is really important, and it's a piece that I believe we miss, especially when we are looking at the structure,
Yeah.
because we can build again. We're just so laser focused on getting it done, but
Yeah.
we miss all of the pieces and the people along the way.
And when you miss pieces, and especially when you overlook the people, you are in for some trouble. And most of us have probably worked with a company, a nonprofit, or something that we've experienced that. We know how that feels to be
Yes.
in a place where you are not celebrated, appreciated, or
Mhm.
you're doing a job that actually you should be doing something else, but they
Yeah.
won't promote you because then they're gonna have to pay you more money, right?
Right.
Like we've experienced those things. And so as you're building your business, your nonprofit, your organization, you
Mhm.
have to be internally thinking about that, because you know why you left that organization, company, nonprofit. That's gonna be the same reason that they leave, but they were a good hire. And because you did not steward them well,
Mhm.
nothing was wrong with them. The stewardship is just off. They
Yeah.
ended up finding something else. So they ended up starting their own thing, but we have to be super mindful of that. And like Jay said, in people's time, stewarding that will, stewarding their expertise will. There are people that work with you right now that could be doing so much more, and that
Yes.
could be bringing in so much more creativity, but
Yes.
they're stuck. And
Yep.
so you have to evaluate who's stuck in this season.
Yeah.
Where are the people that are stuck? Like, let me find them, because it's easy to, the people that's moving around, but who's stuck?
Yes.
Who hasn't had the ability to move and work on different projects? Who's just
That's
kind of
right.
like sitting still? Focus on those people, because I'm sure they've been gathering ideas. They haven't just been sitting still.
Right.
They have been dreaming. They have been, oh, I hope I get to do this one day and all of that. But that has something to do with your structure, because
Yes.
a lot of times we go look out like, oh, I need to bring this person in. I need to do all of this. And sometimes you do, but sometimes the very thing you need is sitting right in the office next door to you.
That's right.
But you don't know what you didn't build, and you don't know what's the structure, and so you overlooking it.
That's
You
right.
go and bring in a plumber, but you got one right next to you that's already on your payroll.
So good. That's
Yeah.
good. Hey, as y'all can see, we have these types of conversations so that we can dig deeper, so that
Mhm.
we go beyond what it is on the surface and we truly just look at the structure. And Danielle, I think it's so good of what you just said, because we talk about building, we talk about growing, we talk about expanding. But I believe the better question that we should be looking at is not just how can, again, in that visibility, and how can we be seen more, right? Because we have this house and this is what it looks like and this is what the structure is and it's amazing and it's all of that. But how do we make sure that we're the type of organization,
Mhm.
or we're the type of company or community, whatever that looks like, that
Mhm.
is able to keep not just bringing in the new,
Mhm.
but we take care of what we already have. So we
Yeah.
steward what we already have. But how can we become an organization? How can we become a company
Mhm.
that is focused on growing the right way? Because again, when we talk about vision not being enough, then if we just grow based on the vision,
Yeah.
we find ourselves out of place. So I
Yeah.
think the bigger, just in everything that you've said and that we've talked about this far, it seems like, instead of saying, well, how can we grow more? What more can we do to bring in more money? What can we do
Yeah.
to attract more funders? We need to first look at our structure. How
Mhm.
are we set up? How are we not just set up in terms of your business setup, but what do people see when they see your company, or when they see
Yeah.
your organization, when they say Jade and Danielle, when they talk about the Builders Collab?
Yeah.
What is it that people are saying? What are they
Mhm.
seeing? I think that's a bigger question, or a bigger thought pattern,
Yeah.
than just, hey, well, I have this amazing vision, but what else?
Exactly. And I think you have to be a real leader to ask those questions,
Mm-hmm.
because some people don't ask the questions because they don't want the feedback.
Oh, that's
They
good.
know that they're not aligned any longer, but they don't want to hear it because now it's a personal, like, oh my God, I'm wrong. Like, you start
Yeah.
taking the feedback personally, when it's
Mhm.
actually an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Feedback is an
Yeah.
opportunity to grow. The more feedback you get, the more opportunities you have to grow. But if
That's right.
you run away from that, you never do customer surveys, you never do employee surveys, you never do any of the things to get the feedback, and creating a place where it's not going to be retaliation if the people tell you the truth.
That's right.
And that's usually what the issue is. People really got something to say to you, but they actually need their job.
Yeah.
So they're going to water it down. They're going to, sugarcoat it,
Yeah.
while knowing they need more, but they don't feel safe enough. And
Yes.
structure should feel safe, right? When
Yes.
you're
That's
in a
right.
structure, you should feel safe. Well, there are some times when natural disasters, they'll tell you what type of structure to get under
Yes.
because it's safe. Is
So
your
good.
structure safe for your
That's good.
people?
Yes.
Or do they feel like if they say one thing, hey, the bricks gonna be hitting them in the head. They gonna be
That's
looking
right.
for a new structure
Yeah.
if they say exactly what they actually need.
Mhm.
And if you feel like, hey, well, my company, people, we're already there. People won't fully express themselves. That's when you bring in people like me and Jade, so that
Yes.
we can do the diagnostic, so they can have the honest conversations with us, and then
That's
we
right.
can provide their feedback without the names, without all of those things.
That's right.
Now you have a clear picture of what your structure looks like, but there needs to be safety in your structure. Bottom
Yes.
line. If it's
Yes.
not safe, people are already, even your best people are already looking for a safer place to be.
That's right. That's right. That's so good that you said that, because one of the things, as you were speaking, I was just thinking about how your structure will, or your character then reveals your structure
Yeah,
also, right? So based on character, like what I heard you say was character.
yeah, yeah,
If this is an organization where we can't come and we can't talk about, hey, I see that this is wrong, but I'm afraid to talk about it. There's this hostile work environment, or there's this space that just is not welcoming
mhm,
of what others' input is, or
yeah,
how can we make this better? How can we take better care of our team and things like that? That's a character thing, and that's revealed under that structure.
yes,
Um, there is, like, when we look at, again, like the funding piece, and
mhm,
I'll say funding because a lot of times that's the first thing that
yeah,
we hear an organization, or even the people that we work with, they talk about, hey, I need to make more money.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to make more money. Nobody is saying, but before I get to the place of making more money, I need to make sure that my structure is tight. I need to make sure that I'm able to, again, sustain this thing that I'm asking for.
Yeah.
It's so good because those things, like the teams and all of that, those things just reveal that there's a structural issue. And like you said, when people bring us in, I mean, for us, it's like 1 + 1 = 2. But we understand
Yeah.
that for those who are actively working in these organizations,
Yeah.
who are maintaining the day to day, they don't see it, but we see it all the time.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so it's something that it's like, hey, we don't, like you said, they don't sometimes not want to hear it
Yeah.
because there's offense, or just not wanting to have to expose the
Yes.
depths of the work that needs to be done. But
Yeah.
that is where true change and transformation comes in.
Yeah.
That is the work that we do. We don't just come in to help you make more money in your organizations. We work to truly transform the organization, especially when we work with nonprofits, because
Exactly.
you are mission driven.
Yes.
And if the mission, if it's good on the outside but it's bad on the inside, what does that look like? So you're showing up good for the community,
Yes.
you're doing everything, but the people who are inside are like, help
Get
us.
away. Run.
So we have to think about those things, and we got to just be okay with revealing that,
Yeah.
taking the cover off. We've covered up things for so long. We find that when we work with companies and organizations, like, hey, you kept the cover over this for long enough, but now it's time to uncover it, because having a vision with a improper structure, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to crumble, because
Exactly.
the structure cannot hold up what it is that you're building.
Yeah. And when that happens, you never get to see the fulfillment of the vision.
So
Like
good.
you are going to be the person stopping the vision from actually coming to fruition, because it can't with the way things are right now. Like it's
Yes.
impossible, because no matter how much money you have, no matter how many people you bring in, if it's bad, it's bad. Or if it needs improvement, it needs
Yeah.
improvement. It might not be bad, but
Yeah.
there are things that need to be improved. And so
Yes.
instead of just hoping it gets better, and for the CEOs, it's the stuff that keep you up at night anyway.
Yep.
Like
That's
it might
right.
be covered up to everybody else, but internally, you know what the things are. You know
That's
what
right.
the issues are. You know people are a little bit overworked. You know there are not systems in place that things can
That's
be
right.
automated. You are aware of this because you are the one carrying the vision.
Yes.
You're carrying it because you have it covered up, and now you can't delegate, because if you
Yes.
delegate, everybody else gonna know too.
They're gonna see
So
it.
you
That's
gotta
right.
hold on tight, and you gotta do all the things, because if you start delegating, you're gonna have to expose some stuff
Yes.
that people did, well, stuff that you think people don't know. Because a
Mhm.
lot
That's
of times
good.
we see it anyway.
That's right.
Oh well, I drove by this house and it looks so nice, but we can see there's a crack in the foundation.
That's
It's cute,
right. That's
but
right.
everybody can see it anyway.
That's
It's
right.
really not a secret.
That's right.
And when you understand that it's not a secret and people are seeing it, you might as
Yes.
well just have the conversations.
That's right.
And we are able to have those conversations. We are able to come in and show up in a way that we're unbiased about the whole situation, so that we
Yes.
can have the diagnostic can be, true to what people actually said, and provide actual solutions, so
Yes.
that the structure can become safe again, so the leaks and the holes can be filled permanently,
Yes.
not just, we made it through one hurricane season, but next year, oh God, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Like we want the structure to be, to be able to sustain
Yes.
the external, because
That's right.
external stuff is going to happen.
That's
Your
right.
structure needs to be able to sustain the external. And what Jade does with visibility is not just to make sure you are sustainable inside. Can you sustain what's coming,
That's right.
that you
That's
don't
right.
see?
That's
Can you
right.
do that? Yeah.
That's right. And that's so good, because even just what you said about those cracks and things, it made me think about growing up. I grew up with my grandparents. And so this house that we were in, it had this one crack. It was hideous. Danielle, it was a big crack, and it would run from like the living room
Mhm.
almost to the dining room. So it was pretty big,
Okay.
and I mean, and this is a big space.
Mhm.
But that crack, my granddad would have somebody come in, patch it up, fix it. You look again and it's back, right?
Yeah.
Never evaluating what is underneath, what is causing this thing. Well, hey, it's just a crack. It's this, is that. We're gonna cover it up and we're gonna keep it moving. The reality is also not just that, but this was in South Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So not too prone to hurricanes, but when a hurricane did come through or whatever the case
Yeah.
was. So the reality is, as you said, when we look at our visibility and then that sustainability piece, they both connect, because yeah, the house looks great, the everything was we had the yard manicure,
Yeah.
we had the pecan trees, we had all of
Uh-huh.
that. Internally though, the structure was bad, right? We were on a faulty foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, the foundation had shifted, which is causing this crack, but we keep patching it. We're
Mm-hmm.
never evaluating, we're never letting anybody really in.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not getting the real builders and contractors to come in and tell us what's wrong with this. We're
Y'all on
just
YouTube
getting
University. Mm-hmm.
we just getting on YouTube University. We just gonna get Mo, who got the lawnmower, who just walking down the street. We are going to get what we deem is the cheapest. We're
Yes.
gonna get what we deem is the quickest to just cover it up so that we don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But again, that visibility piece, okay, I'm looking to see there is a crack here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we, like you said, we think that there is nothing. Hey, well, we just got this beautiful, amazing structure and everything is good.
Yeah.
Typically, what you and I do is we find a crack somewhere, and it's going to be someplace that nobody was ever considering.
Yeah.
But again, so that you're able to sustain the wind when the
Yeah.
wind blows, because as you said, those external things are going to happen. But are you able to withstand it? Are you able to, if somebody says something about your organization, is your entire organization going to fall? Or do you have some wherewithal to stand up? Do you have a backing or a
Yeah.
footing to stand on?
Yeah. Because
Those
sometimes
are the
internally, your people gonna say, "Yep, that's right."
listen. I remember conversations that we've had, and we were like, hey, so on the outside, you may have a 4.7 star review on Yelp and Google and all of that. And they meet one of the employees or a leader in the grocery store, and they are like, nope, not at all. Don't go, don't. But the reality is, even in that, and Danielle, I know you deal with that internally on the
Yeah.
internal side. So I see it from external.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, that is one, killing your profitability. That is killing your ability to sustain this thing that you're building.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely killing your visibility.
Exactly.
But from a capacity side and even a competency
Yeah.
side, I know you see that as well, dealing with the internal teams, because I just can't imagine the level of things that people are dealing with. But these are the things that are, again, when we talk about structure and solid
Yeah.
foundation,
Yeah.
these are the things that is
Yeah.
causing it to crumble.
Exactly. And so many people are misaligned in their positions. And that's the problem, because people are seeing things that could be better in another position, but that's not their position. So they like, well, I ain't gonna say nothing because that ain't my business, and doing all this stuff.
Right.
And it's like, if somebody comes and say, well, let's look at the capabilities of the team and beyond their strengths, right? Because I think a lot of organizations just stop at what are people's strengths, that's where we put them. But where are they creative? Where do they have some other experience that can translate over, right? And I think looking at the whole picture, because if people will tell somebody, don't come to this business, don't work here, and all that stuff, that means that they don't like it either. And they're actually looking for a way out, right? Like, if that's the conversation that they're having, you might not have heard them have that conversation. But if they're having those conversations, they're on their way out, and or they're keeping good people from coming to you.
That's so good.
They are stopping what you actually need because they don't feel like they're being treated well, or they don't feel like they're able to show up fully. So you have to, like, you cannot go another year without having some type of diagnostic of where are my people. Even if the company seems to be doing well and everybody's happy, y'all celebrate birthdays, whatever, you still need to know, because I promise you, I'm sure there is something that people are not saying. Because they're like, oh, if I say that I'm supposed to get a promotion in about 5 months, I'm gonna hold that one, right? Like, people are holding back because they want the security of the position, which is understandable, but they oftentimes need somebody on the outside to come in and gather the information. And
Yes.
once we gather the information, we present it to you in a very logical, structured way. It's
Yes.
not just here, 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 here. No, it's a plan. It's something that you can read, you can digest, we
That's
can break
right.
it down, and we can provide further solutions. We
Yeah.
don't just come in and say, well, here's the issue. This is what people said. And now here you
Right.
go. No, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is the issue. Okay, well, we can provide a leadership training for that.
Yeah.
We can provide a culture training for that. Like we can do the things
Right.
that once it's revealed, we can
Yes.
come in with a solution. We can start implementing things. So what we're doing here and what we've built is not something that just comes in and say, "Oh, everybody got an issue." That's not what we want. We want to
Right.
help you. We want your mission to go forward. We want
That's
your
right.
vision to see the light. We want you to see your vision come to fruition.
Yes.
We actually want you to live in it, right?
Yes.
Because when you got it, you might have got it in a notebook, you might have wrote it
Yeah.
on a napkin, but we want you to live to see it
That's
come
right.
forth. And the people that are working with you, we want them to enjoy it too.
Yeah, that's so good that you said that you even dived into that
Yeah,
piece of, hey, so the thing when we say vision is not enough, we are not coming against the vision.
yeah,
We want to see this thing come to fruition,
yeah.
but we want to make sure that not only is it a beautiful structure
Mhm.
in the end, but that it's also sustainable.
Yeah.
That, when we look at visibility, that the type of traction that you get
Mhm.
actually aligns with the vision, that your internal teams are happy, excited, and they are doing the selling for you. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, whatever it is, and they can go out confidently and say, I represent this
Mhm.
organization. I
Yeah.
represent this company. This is what we stand on, and this is what we stand for. When y'all see people on social media and they in these comments about celebrities or companies, it is because they truly believe in the
Yes.
vision. It is because they truly understand the mission. It
Mhm.
is because they are sold out for what it is that they have connected themselves
Exactly.
to. And
Yeah.
so, one of the things that I'll say as we get ready to close out this conversation for today, so amazing. It's always a good space for me,
Uh-huh.
especially when we come together to have these conversations. But I want to say to the people who are listening or who are watching this, I want to give you a question that you can go and take back to your leadership meetings, to your team meetings, to the table. The thing that you should be looking at is not so much so of what is the vision, right? We get laser focused on that. I want to challenge you to go back to your teams and have these conversations, this hard conversation of where are we treating the cracks when the foundation is what needs our attention.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Where is it that we are covering up the cracks?
Hmm.
We are calling people in to just, hey, just patch this up for now. We'll worry
Yeah.
about it later,
Yeah.
because we hear it all the time. I remember the last property that I rented, that was
Mhm.
the, hey, well, we just gonna bring somebody in to fix it and then we'll come back later,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we'll do the rest. But if we truly want to build something that is sustainable, if we truly want to build an organization that outlives us, if
Hmm.
we truly
Yeah.
want to build these companies that have a massive impact and all of those things, we need to be asking the question, where have we been treating the cracks when
Hmm.
our foundation really needs attention?
I
That
love
is the
the
question.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, that I want to challenge every single person listening. If you catch the replay, if you somebody sends it to you, it
Yes.
is because you need to go and really dive in and ask that question.
And some of you, if you already know, you like, I know what the issue is. I need help. That's what we're here for.
That's
You might
good.
already know. You already know what thing you've been covering up for years and years. And every time it's time to go for a grant, you're like, oh, I wish I could go for that one, but we ain't got this together yet.
That's right.
We just keep covering it up.
That's
Or,
right.
I wish we could have this, but
Hmm.
we this part has not been implemented yet. So
Hmm.
if you already know, or once you ask the question, and so we're talking to people in the C-suite. If you're
That's right.
like, hey, I know I am part of an organization, I run an organization, whatever
Yeah.
that is, ask the honest question and be okay with the feedback, and know that it is not a personal indictment on who you are.
Oh, that's so good.
Because when you know it's not a personal indictment, it's just the way things are, you will
Yes,
take yourself and not feeling so the weight of it, and then you burnt out because now
that's
you
right.
emotionally exhausted because all these
Mhm.
things are wrong. It's
Yes.
not a personal indictment. As I'm in
Yes.
my doctoral program, we get feedback all the time.
Yes.
And when you first start getting feedback, when you start the program, like, oh my God, I don't belong here. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I'm not good enough. But you learn the feedback, that's not personal.
Yes.
That's just what the person read and
That's
said,
right.
hey, I think you need to improve that. They telling you what to improve
That's
it.
right.
So
That's right.
feedback literally gives you the answer. You wonder what to do next, get the feedback, and you had an answer.
That's right. That's
That's
so good.
all you need to do.
Yeah, that's so good. And I believe that should be the conversation, or maybe that's an upcoming conversation that
I
we
believe so.
have, because we need to deal with emotional intelligence in
Yes.
the leadership space.
Mhm.
Because even that piece of, like you said, it's not a personal indictment. This is nothing against you personally,
Mhm.
but offense in leadership causes everything to sway. So I believe that that definitely will be
Yeah.
a conversation that we have coming up soon, because we need to deal with that as we are talking about structure, and
Mhm.
we are talking about these, sustaining these organizations and
Mhm.
these companies, and we're talking about being C-suite leaders, and we talk about maintaining our teams. We have to deal with the emotional intelligence as leaders. And so I just want to say, Danielle, if you don't have anything else that you want to add, if you do,
I'm
then
good. This is our first go at the Builders Collab. We hope you enjoyed it, baby, because
yes,
we had a good time. If you can't
yes,
tell, the conversation is this is normal for us, and so
yes,
to be able to bring you in, to be able to sit with other builders and have these conversations, and we know the people that are on the other side listening. You're not
yes.
just listening because you don't have nothing else to do. You
That's right.
really want real results. You want the help. You want the feedback. You want the strategy. And
That's right.
so to know that we get to provide this space, and beyond this space, we have the capacity to come into your organization and actually help you, right? Because now we're giving generalizations, but when we get to sit down with you, your teams, your organizations, if you thought this was good, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let us, hey, schedule for a consultation so that we can have these actual conversations with you and your team. We are not people that just woke up yesterday and say we're gonna do this. We have
That's right.
years of expertise and experience, whether we were working in the organizations
Right.
or we were building them, right?
That's right.
Like we have done the work, and so we're excited to come in and bring in the solutions and walk and
Yes.
partner with you through
Yes.
implementation and execution of it all.
That's so good. So as Danielle said, y'all have heard it. Don't have anything more to give today.
Okay.
But I do want to let you guys know that these are the type of conversations that you can expect going forward. We are going to ask a question.
Mhm.
Sometimes we may decide that we want to put a brand in the spotlight to evaluate that brand. We're going to be looking at things like leadership, the sustainability, the actual health of the organization, and what it really takes to build something that's going to last. So again, I'll say, if this conversation
Yeah.
today has sparked something that you feel like you need to take back to your leadership team, I encourage you to do so. Keep the conversation going. I
Yeah.
want you to share this episode with
Mhm.
somebody that you know, who either you're building alongside, that they are building something that they just don't want to be so focused on the vision, but
Mhm.
they want this to be something that's sustainable.
Yeah.
I challenge you to share it with them. And also, if you are interested in learning more about the work that we do, you
Mhm.
can find us in some of our previous videos here on YouTube, the Builders Collab. Make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like it. Again, share it with everybody that you know. But you
Yes.
can also connect with us through our organizational advisory work
Mhm.
at the VCP group, and we will share more details about that later. But until next time, I just want to challenge you to keep building and keep building with intention.